Hi all! In February, many paragliding pilots are either heading to Colombia or already coming back, but I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. You might be familiar with this destination as the world record used to be set here, but South Africa has much more to offer, and in a moment you'll see why it should be also on your list. First of all, South Africa is huge. There are at least 3 main paragliding sites, several hours drive from each other. Each of them is different and they work in different conditions. That's why if you would like to do most during your trip, you should probably be able to travel between them in a very flexible manner. Without leaving Cape Town, you already get access to several incredible coastal sites, but within 1 to 2 hours drive, there's actually tons of takeoffs, working with different directions and offering quite good cross-country possibilities. What is actually pretty cool about the Western Cape is that there's plenty of mountains. Those sites that I've mentioned are not really isolated. You can fly in between of them, you can connect them. And even if you're soaring on a coastal site, usually there's not just like one small isolated cliff. Usually you can jump from this one to another one and then follow a ridge. And then you can just cross through flatland, because flatlands work really, really well. You're only limited by your creativity, time, patience, and quite often the wind. The second region is the garden route. It's much greener, much more humid. It's perfect for beginners, but there are actually some pretty good cross-country flights down there, and there are always some ambitious goals, even if just hanging on a cliff. You can try to get to the next one. That's also the area where the famous Paradise Ridge is located, and believe me, you want to fly there. If you get there for sunset, it's probably one of the prettiest paragliding sites I've seen so far. And even though most people come there just to enjoy the view and soar back and forth, there are actually 150 or 180 k's flights registered from there. Can you believe that? The third one, Porterville, is probably the most famous because of many good cross-country flights that have been done there. It's basically a super long valley with a cliff running along one of its sides. It allows to do a 200-kilometer out and return flight with only several major transitions. But don't be tricked by the map. The flying can be actually pretty tricky because the valley is very hot and very windy. So I have mentioned 3 regions, the one I have visited, but it would be unfair not to mention the 4th one. A big plateau with super strong winds where the world record has been actually set, where the magical barrier of 500 kilometers was broken for the first time. You probably need a very good local support and a winch, but if you're not happy with anything under 300k, you probably should explore this region. What is also pretty cool about most of those paragliding sites is that there are really vast options for landing. You can try to the very latest moment, try to get a low safe, and you still have some choice of landing spots. There are not many trees, the bushes are rather low, and they're just mostly huge farmlands. One thing that is worth paying attention to are the fences. Most of the terrain is private, so it's worth to make sure that you'll be able to get out of the place before landing there. Retrieval is fairly easy because roads go pretty much everywhere. Some of them are gravel, but generally they're pretty good quality and pretty fast. However, before committing into wilder, more remote terrain, make sure to discuss it with your driver. I would not count on any local transport because hitchhiking can be hard and also maybe not the safest. Public transport doesn't really exist in many places, and also bear in mind it's really, really hot, and finding shadow can be really challenging. If you live in Europe or America, you've been probably bombarded by all the news about crime and violence in South Africa, and indeed, there are places where you just don't want to be. But to be honest, Western Cape feels really safe. And it's not only that there's not much history of tourists or paragliding pilots being hurt or assaulted, but if you look at the locals, they're actually pretty relaxed about locking the door, leaving stuff in the car, or just walking around. And to me, that means really a lot. The country is as well pretty clean, it has good infrastructure, you can drink tap water and eat pretty much whatever you want. There are not many dangerous animals. You should probably watch your step while walking through the grass because there may be snakes and other stuff, but there's nothing really serious that you wouldn't have anywhere else in the world. Now, when you should come here? Actually, the season is all year long, but most people would arrive here from October, November to March, maybe April. We're at the end of February now, and in the past 18 weeks, there was only 3 days that were not flyable. Not every day will be epic, but every day you can fly somewhere. That's pretty cool, no? So should you come to South Africa for flying? If you're a beginner and want to increase your airtime and fly in some of the prettiest places on Earth, you should definitely come and visit. If you're an experienced cross-country pilot, you like exploring and ambitious cross-country goals, and maybe you want to avoid the crowds and fly alone in the air or just with a bunch of friends, definitely you should put it on your list. If you're all about numbers, distances, points, you may be a bit frustrated in South Africa because some days are just not good enough for big cross-country flights. Some days you can just make a small challenge, jump to that cliff, or another one, do 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers. That'll be a very satisfying flight, but it just doesn't look good on paper. Finally, if you don't come only for flying, or you have friends and family coming along, there's definitely a lot of other things to do here. There's kitesurfing, there's windsurfing, there's all kind of other sports, there's a lot of sightseeing, there's Kruger National Park where it's basically the whole animal planet is there with lions, elephants, zebras and all other animals you can imagine. It's definitely worth to stay here a bit longer or just make a small break and focus on something else. Why not? I really hope you enjoyed this content, and if something isn't clear or you would like to know more about South Africa, please let me know. That's it for now. Thank you a lot and see you next time. Ciao!